Today, I wanted to talk to you about a client of mine, Stuart, who come to me in quite a financial situation, like most people come to me in. He had a trades business that is seasonal. And he was in his slow season, but like many of you will know, the standard bills still roll in even if your income slows up. He had a bunch of staff that weren't as productive as they could be, just simply because the work had slowed off, but he needed to retain those staff so that when the season changed, he would be ready to go. He was scraping by, barely paying bills, having to put money into the business himself. And the main step that we needed to do first was to do an expense review. Now, I know an expense review doesn't sound like the most exciting thing to do, but it is the very first thing I do when I work with clients. And the reason why that is because we want to stop money leaking out of your business. So if you think about your business as a bucket, and unfortunately, your bucket has a lot of holes in it, and there's money just dripping out here and there constantly, but we're unaware of it. And you tend to just keep thinking, okay, if I just work more, if I just get this contract, if I can just get more team, if I can just make more money, then my cash flow problems and my profitability problems are just going to miraculously fix themselves. And they won't. I have been doing this and been a certified profit first professional now for over 5 years. I have seen hundreds of trades businesses of all different shapes of sizes, from brand spanking new to 20 plus years in business and everything in between. And making more money, getting more sales is never the first solution to your financial problems. Never. But unfortunately, it's the one we default to first. The first thing we have to do is do an expense review. Now, as I said, with my client, we did the expense review, or he actually did the expense review, followed the process that I teach in my Profit First for Tradies Kickstart program, and was able to find $40,000 worth of expenses that he could cut and not spend in the next subsequent years. Now, when I'm talking about cutting expenses, I'm not talking about we need to budget and be frugal and be tight and like do without. That's not how I think about our businesses. Our businesses should be fun and enjoyable. And if we have to scrimp and save, that doesn't sound very fun and enjoyable to me. So when I'm talking and how I teach to do an expense review, it's just about patching that leaky bucket, stopping those expenses that we actually don't need to spend money on. It's not about, oh, okay, we can't have this anymore and we can't have that anymore. So where most people go when I start to talk about an expense review is they think that I'm going to tell them that they have to do without things. Not the case. If you want to spend, if you want to have a $2,000 a month lease on a vehicle that you want, great, have it. But what we want to do is make sure that you're not wasting money on things that are totally unnecessary so you can afford the fun things. Because if you want the car or the whatever it is, let's build the business so it can afford that. Let's patch that leaky bucket. So what this client did is he went through and had a look at all his expenses over the past 12 months and figured out, did he need to keep it, or could he replace it with a better deal, or were there actually things there that he just shouldn't have spent money on and didn't need to spend money on in the future. Now, again, the expense review is not there for you to feel bad about yourself for wasting money on those things in the past. We can't go back and change the past, so let's not worry about it. Let's learn from it and go, okay, there's been a subscription or a bunch of subscriptions that are, $20, $30, $70, whatever they may be, that we no longer need. We may have signed up for something that had a free trial and then it's continued on and we didn't realize. A big one is insurance policies for vehicles that are no longer in your possession. That's quite a common one, that you call the insurance company, you have it cancelled, the insurance company doesn't cancel it, and then it continues to come out and you just don't realize it until you go through and have a look at your expenses. $40,000 is a pretty standard. This business was turning over just under $1 million. So that is a pretty standard amount. I say for every client, we're going to find at least 10% savings on your investment, on your expenses for the next 12 months. And that is a really cautious figure. We usually find a lot more than that. And I know that seems strange. Like, how could you like just be wasting 40 grand on expenses? Like you'd know that was missing. The thing is, you are busy. You are juggling so many different parts in your business. And for most people, the financial aspect of their business is not something that they have a system in place for. And so that means it usually gets left till the last minute. It usually gets left until something doesn't work anymore and you're in dire straits, and then you go looking at it. And that's usually where I work with clients the most, where things have gotten so bad and gotten so on top of them that they just don't know where to from here. And that's where I come in and help them navigate and step through my process to help them sort out how to patch that bucket, how to do that expense review, how to put profit first in their business so that it is really simple and easy, and it absolutely can be. Now, is this client out of the woods yet? No, not yet, but they are certainly going to save themselves $40,000 in the next 12 months, which gives them a lot of breathing space. And for my client, his comments were, oh, like, I didn't realize that I was wasting that money. He had tried to figure out what was going wrong, but just couldn't pinpoint it until he started working with me. And then we just went through my system and just go through the checklist. And he's like, okay, yep, right, follow this step, that we've saved money here, next step, and so on. And for him, it was just the ease of knowing that he had a process to follow, because tradies are very good at following a process. Whatever trade you're in, there's a process that you have to follow, a system that you have to follow to do the jobs that you do. And the problem is that we just don't have a financial system in our business. So if you are one of those tradies that I'm talking to week in and week out, who is working their butt off, doing their best, and just doesn't feel like they're getting any further, and in fact feels like you're going backwards, then please reach out. There's a link here where you can book in a call, have a 15-minute chat with me, and if nothing else, you'll get 1 or 2 tips to take away from there and implement yourself. The other option is that we look at working with me in the Profit First for Tradies Kickstart program. That might be something that you can do now. That might be something you need to do down the track. Either way, have the conversation, book in the call, and let's start getting you some solutions to your problems around your cash flow and your financial situation in your business, because it won't just miraculously fix itself. We have to do some work around it. We have to find a way to make this better, because the tradies that I'm talking to, they're busy, but they're exhausted and they are struggling. And unless they put their hands up and ask for help, we don't know how to help them. So please, if that sounds like you, book in a call, send me an email, katie@profitfirstfortradies.com.au. I love receiving emails from clients about what's going on in their business, because it then allows me to help and reach out and be like, hey, I've got this resource that you can use here that's going to help you solve that problem. Or you need to book in a chat with me. I've got some ideas to get you going. But if you don't reach out, I can't help you. So please make sure you either book in a call on the link or email me, katie@profitfirstfortradies.com.au.